think just like Dom's outfit, they're not always pretty. Sometimes they're really ugly. But
Just been all over Amazon and just about every site looking for these mustard pants. And
My wife will tell you she wants to burn mine.
we played defense in that first half like Dom transitions to you after the game. It's way too long, way too lazy, but
You got all these answers. I'm going to bring you over and have you do our non-conference schedule.
I'd love to. I'd love to go to Grand Canyon,
I would
man.
love.
Hey,
well,
you're
you
doing
can
that
come with.
game.
That's not the thing. The game coming with isn't the issue. It's getting
Getting
the
the
games.
games.
done.
Yes.
We haven't seen our intro in a while. Here he is back in studio. You are becoming a, sought-after guest here. We don't have many people in studio all the time of you. So this is pretty cool.
Here's the first thing. I want to give a
Oh,
shout out. I'm going to filibuster your show again
Here we go, all the time.
like I always do. I know somebody really special is listening to us today, Dom. Burke Nelson. Burke is listening. I spent some time with Burke already this morning. Burke and I go Bison, buddy. Look forward to getting you back, getting you on your feet, doing all those things, buddy. And so
Awesome.
Burke is a huge part of our Bison family, so I'm glad that he and Mom Kristen are listening today. And that's a segue into something else, Dom. People actually listen to your show.
They watch.
They
Yeah, I
watch
told
it.
you. Yeah.
And I think I'm going to, my ego tells me it's a lot to do with me being on your show. That's the only time they
Duh. Yeah.
know. But we had this great event, Team Makers event the other night. Somebody stopped me in the show
boy.
in the back, and they're like, I love when you're on Dom. You're so transparent. And I'm like, so two things are happening. That one, people are watching your show,
Yes,
listening.
yes.
Right? That
Yep.
caught me a little off guard. I'm just being honest. And second of all, apparently I must be the most transparent dude in the world.
I would think, yeah.
Because
up there. Yep. I agree with
especially
that.
in my profession, because everybody always comments on those things.
I would add that caveat in your profession. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subterfuge and certainly people just flat out lying. It just happens. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
But my dad told me a long time ago, you might as well just tell the truth because you're not going to remember your lies. And that, well, I must tell the truth.
It's great to see you. I saw you went on the trip to Boulder. That was pretty neat. You and Jory Collins both got to go out and watch the Bison play at Colorado.
That was awesome. A great experience. Really appreciate. Obviously, Tim and I are great friends. So for him to let Jory and I tag along, obviously Matt and Todd played a part in letting us do that. But it was a cool experience. They just starting Monday, we'll start official practices. Excuse me. And so you just really don't usually get those opportunities. But to have that experience with them, to be involved, that game, Dom,
Pretty good.
Like in just the whole thing. I grew up on football fields, my dad being a football coach, but that weather, that atmosphere, that game Thursday night was unbelievable. You're not going to find that. That's why sports, that's why reality TV is sports. Like, it was just a really cool experience. Now, I will say this, and kudos to everything, and you get it, right? But we landed at 3 a.m. I walked into my house at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things behind the scenes that the old common Joe doesn't really fully understand that goes into making those things happen. And so you appreciate the logistical side of things, the operational peoples that make those all those things happen. But a really cool experience.
Wake up came at 6 a.m. was a rough one when my son was ready. Dad, that was
Hey, Dad.
yeah, that was a tough one.
He has no clue that you went to bed at 4 a.m. No.
Dion's whole vibe is a different one, isn't it? That's a different deal, is it not?
Different deal. Good
Yeah.
for Dion, not my deal.
Yeah.
I just I'm not as good looking as Dion. I don't know. I can't pull off the swag and the shine like Dion. There's a lot about Dion there.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
And you know what? It might work for him. I think what you saw in visiting with some of our people, two polar opposite programs, and not that one's right, one's wrong. But you saw, a program in us. I think there's a little bit more, maybe a lot bit more substance than there is style. Hey, Colorado got a good win last week at Colorado State. Kudos to them from that perspective. I know it works for me. I know it works for us. I like to do our work in the dark, and then when it comes opportunity with the lights on, let the kids do their thing. But I need to make sure that I'm not archaic in my thinking either, because times are certainly changing.
There's a bunch I want to get to, but this is a huge week. It's homecoming week. The Hall of Fame banquet is on Friday, and it is huge for Bison men's basketball because two guys that built the Division I legacy as it stands are going in, and Ben Woodside and Brett Winkleman, two guys that I know you know intimately well from obviously coaching and recruiting. for people that are not, they know the current form of Bison basketball, maybe as you as the head coach, how important are these two guys to the pillars of what Bison men's basketball is?
Well, let me talk about a lot of things here, and I appreciate this opportunity. Number one, Tim Miles and I were talking just the other day about this. It's like Hall of Fame still means something.
Yeah.
There's a legacy piece to it. There's just, this weekend is so special, right? For people to come back and enjoy, to me, 4 or 5 years of the best years of your life in that college, and to do those things and the relationships that you're formed. And sadly, I do think we're trending in a way, like, I don't know how Hall of Fames and all those things are going to be intact in 15, 20 years too. But this weekend's going to be really special. And this is the first time, and you're going to start to see a wave of them now, but my first time in going into my 11th year as a head coach that I've been able to make these calls and let these guys know that, it's a goosebumps moment. And let me just tell you really quick, and they don't care. They're well-earned opportunities, well-deserved opportunities by Ben and Brett. In both conversations, Dom, okay, in both conversations when I had the opportunity to let them know they were going into Hall of Fame, they both asked me, when is our team going in?
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sum everything up about who they are? All right, you got number one points, you got number one assists, you got number one rebounds. That team, including Mike Nelson, had 3 of the top 10 scorers at the time. Just an unbelievable nucleus of individually talented dudes. But now, like, to see them all come back and for them to want to recognize their teammates, I am fired up for Friday because there's going to be an opportunity for them to get up and talk about their well-earned honor. But Friday night, some of their teammates are going to be in town. Some of their former coaches are going to be in town. Just really what it's all about, and something that, through the portal, through NIL, I hope we can continue to find ways to hang on to the memories, because that's what it all comes down to.
Because there's no way those guys they're being courted in this day and age. They were here for 5 years. You redshirted them. I mean,
not only were they for 5 and courted on those things, but they hung on for one chance.
Yes,
right. They sacrificed so many other things to do what they did in 2009. And because of those sacrifices, I firmly believe they're better men, they're better husbands, fathers, employees. They got unbelievable lasting relationships. On my way over here, I was talking to Michael Tweet, talking about the weekend. Like, it goes on and on. It's a cool deal.
That 2009 we were watching, I went to Brookings for that game, which was an overtime classic down there. There were so many moments that those three, especially looking, Dave, at the old BSA, and I love the Shack, but man, there was McFeely and I were talking about this yesterday about Woody and Winks going in, like a Saturday night in February, and Fort Wayne is here, and it's to the rafters.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. You could not, it was an unbelievable environment.
When I talked to Tweet this morning, he goes, I come to the BSA, the Bison Sports Arena. That's all. And he knows the other name. He knows it's the Shack. He goes, that's all I'm going to call it.
Yeah. Exactly right.
I mean, it was certainly a unique time, a really cool time. And I'm excited, too. Jory and I are going to sit down with our marketing people again this afternoon. We need to create that atmosphere.
Yeah.
We need to figure out ways to adapt to some new things, some new times, and really create that experience again.
The current version of the Bison open up practice on Monday. You had a chance. Well, I guess for people that don't know, how much on-court work can you have with the team throughout the summer?
Spring, summer, and fall are very similar, Dom, where we get 8 per NCAA rules. We get 8 hours a week with our guys. And Jason Miller does such a terrific job of strength conditioning, laying the foundation of what our program is about, toughened together. So he usually takes about 4 of those hours per week and takes the guys into the weight room and does those things with them. And then we call them workouts. Coach Stragey's, he's adamant, Dave, like, hey, be careful now. We need some time with them before you go into your practice mode. So we work out with the guys probably 4 hours a week right now. We did it yesterday. They're just going to lift today. We'll do another one. And they're very, very similar to what our practices will be about. And then starting Monday, we'll go into 20 hours a week. And so the rule is 42 days from your first game, you're allowed 30 days of practice within that 42-day window, and we'll start that up.
So when you were last here, you had built your roster. Now you've had a chance to work with them. Tell us about the incoming guys and what you can expect for them, or what you're hoping to get out of them for this upcoming year.
F word. Ready? Get your button ready. Ready to push. It's a fun group to be around, Dom. We got a lot of work to do. I think me, pretty. Try to be pretty humble and reserved, but I need to make a narrative, make sure that this is heard by Bison Nation. This is a fun group. this is a group I think that's got a chance to do some things. I really do. Are we a work in progress? Absolutely. I always want that. I always want us to be progressing towards something. So as you know, I talk about this a million times from now until then, but is to be playing our best basketball in late February and March. And this is a group that likes being around each other. This is a group that has got some talent, some depth, some experience, some maturity. It's just I challenge these guys at our first meeting to be the REFUN, RE-FUN group. And last year, just towards the end, it wasn't, just for whatever reason, it wasn't fun. Fun for me is getting better. We weren't making those strides like we normally had, and I see some old bison coming back in some of this group, and a fun group to be around.
For the guys that were returning, how much did you count on them throughout the time that you couldn't be with the team to integrate them in? And hey, this is what Bison basketball is about.
100%, and I think there's such a conversation piece about the portal guys, and 8 of our 15 guys are new to our roster. Like, I want to make sure and start in a big part of the conversation continues to be about the 7 guys that are back.
Mm-hmm.
And, in particular, like a guy like Noah Federson, we've had some tremendous conversations of just what leadership looks like, what tradition, history, legacy looks like. There has to I need to be able to find that 1 or 2 guys in the locker room that, that I can have that relationship with. There's certain things that go on in there that I don't want to know, don't need to know, but there are certain other things that we need to be able to have those conversations. And we just got some of those guys. Jakari White is so endeared by his teammates. Damari Wheeler-Thomas walks around with a conviction and security to who he is. Derek Dissette's energy and vibe and personality is really infectious. And then again, Noah is just a very talented, very intelligent figure that it takes pride and passion, and not just himself, but in the program. And I think, there's a bunch of other guys that can continuously go on into him, but it's an exciting, fun group to be around.
Well, we'll take a break. Dave's going to be here for a bit. We got a bunch of other topics to talk about: the upcoming season, the state of college basketball, your favorite, where things are at. I'm sure there's like 8 things that have changed since you came on the air anyway, so we'll do that. When Hot Mike returns, we're back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. You tweeted this out yesterday. This is Jeremiah Burke giving you a haircut? What is this about?
This is the second time.
Really?
So you get to this, like, I love Macy at Men's Hair Co., right? They take great care of me, and you get the shoulder massages and all the things that come with it. But I always get into this in-between stage where I don't feel like I need a full haircut, but there's a couple just lingering over the ears. And I'm picky about these things, and I'm trying to make chicken soup out of you-know-what. And JB and actually Cam can do it too. They taught them through COVID and the prices they've taught. And so I do got a few tweaks going, but JB had nothing to do with that.
Looks good.
Like, girls have been all over me about the grays that have coming in. But
I got it here.
Yeah,
too,
it worked out. It's a whole new level of trust right there.
Looking good, man. There's a bunch of emails I got here about a variety of topics. The one I'll hit right away. Dave, why did you finally schedule the Dragons? How did that come about? I mean, this is a topic you and I have.
Is this email from Mike McFeely? Mike even said, now I can't even give you crap anymore. Yeah, well, that's why I did it. No, I don't know. It's just, I think I've been doing it long enough and know that the preseason is one thing, and one of those things is to prepare us. Certainly, Bergie's done a good job over there. A part of it is let's get a few more butts in the stands. I know there's of all the games on our schedule, I think this is the one that people have been talking about.
I would agree with that
the most. And so let's go. Bring on the competition. We don't need to shy away from anybody. And it's an exhibition game. It's an opportunity for us to get better. And this is a present a little bit more formidable challenge than some of the other exhibition games.
That's the new rule as well. That those are for Division I basketball now. There's you can have more exhibitions. Did I read that correctly, or how's the language of that spelled out now?
Did that just come out in the last couple minutes? Yeah. No. So we can do 4 non-Division I contests.
Okay.
So and that includes scrimmages, exhibitions, and games. So this year we're going to play 3 non-Division I games. This regular seasons we'll play Moorhead, and then we do have a scrimmage on the board.
Okay.
Yep.
Against? Can you tell us?
I don't think I can.
Somebody I know? Yeah.
Yeah, you've heard of them.
Okay.
It's a Division I school.
All right. That's good to know. With the incoming guys coming in, how much of a you saw them play. Obviously, you watch video of them play. But when did you get a sense for the new guys? Okay, he can help us. That right away. That we can plug him in and he can play. How soon did you need that during the summer?
Yeah, you
to
could
figure that out?
You could actually start to see some things pretty early in the summer with a couple guys, and again, our off-air conversation. Some of them it took a little bit longer. There was a little bit different adjustment, whether they're playing more consistently, whether they're switching levels. Some of those things. Pat Bath, who didn't really play at all last year from a redshirt standpoint. Yeah, I mean, but again, maybe I'm sitting here this year or next year and saying a different narrative, but the portal was really good to us, Dom. It was, and it's something that I needed to embrace. I made some mistakes, a couple years ago when we had guys leave to the portal that had some mileage under their belt from a college basketball. We tried to continue to do it the same way with high school kids. I still want to make it loud and clear. This foundation is Upper Midwest high school kids that we can bring in and develop. Trayson Anderson, Andy Stefanowicz, Carson Smith, those type of guys are still going to be the foundation. But, for good, bad, or whatever reasons in the springs that we lose somebody that has some mileage on it, we need to make sure and replace that. You cannot put a price or a premium on experience and maturity and making sure they continue to still have the talent and character. And we really feel like there's some of those guys that came in with us that can help us.
Real quick before we got to go, and we'll have much more time on the other end of the break. How rare is your program for still looking at high school guys in this part of the world? Is it not as common, or is it more common than I think?
No, I think it's still. I still think it's there, Dom.
Okay.
I just don't think that you're going to see these huge classes anymore.
5 guys.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I just think we have one commitment already. We'll hope to get probably one more, maybe 2 more. But there just maybe isn't the panic, the urgency, as in the past to go out and you just want to protect yourself for what you might need or to cover up in the spring. And again, I'm just in a place too, based on how the portal was to us, that feel pretty good about those things.
Let's break. We come back much more with Dave as we get ready for the upcoming Bison men's basketball season. Chat about state of affairs in Division I hoops right now, and much more when Hot Mike returns. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike on the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mike on this Wednesday, where we've got NDSU men's basketball head coach Dave Richman joining us here in studio. We've chatted plenty on your team. I know I'm just reading there, Adrian Wojnarowski is retiring from ESPN, of all things, to become the general manager of the St. Bonaventure men's basketball team, which is a great segue, because this is what we wanted to talk about where Division I men's basketball is at, because we hammer NIL all the time. And I think, and I'll paraphrase for you, that you've, in your time out there, either people that don't know about it yet, don't understand it, or just don't want to give to it. Is that accurate?
Why are you kicking me under the table? Is this, you want to come be our general manager now? Is that what this is about, Tom?
There's no way you get me anywhere close to your program. I can guarantee that.
Both ways. This is close enough right here. The landscape has changed, Dom, and I go back to a bunch of different conversations, and I appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate this platform where I was sitting with Coach Miller, and there's 5 stages of grievance, and the last one is acceptance, and this is different, and we're and I'm going to just go into the quote machine here, but change is inevitable, growth is optional, and the reality of it is transfer portal and NIL are here to stay. And I understand for you and a vast majority of our listeners, that's different. That's not what you like. It's something that is, you had to pay your own way, or you got a scholarship and that was awesome. And you stayed for 4 or 5 years. Here's Dave Richman, Mr. Transparency. If that's the way, if I had my choice to go back to how it was or what it is today, I think I would go back, right? There is that continuity. There's that development. There's the legacy piece that Tim Miles has really instilled in me. But I don't have that choice. Yeah. And I love what I do. And I'm really excited about 5 portal guys. And I sit with coaches in the Horizon League, and I listen to what is in their collective budgets. And I know that if we want to continue to move the needle, if we want to continue to stay relevant, if we want to continue to bring in, most definitely we're going to continue to check the character box, but better and better talent with greater and greater experience. This needs to be part of it. And I don't shy away from that. At NDSU, I understand the narrative that our budget is externally raised from facilities and logistics and operational budgets and scholarships and all those things. And we need all those things. But a part of this conversation needs to continue to move the NIL needle. It really does. And I'm trying to, for 6 months out of the year, I become a CEO, and the other 6 months I become a coach. And I enjoy that. It offers me different relationships and different conversations. It makes me uncomfortable where I'm growing. And a big part of that is opportunities like this to just explain the narrative. Now it's your choice if you want to listen or not. Because is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't know. But the reality of it is these things are here and now. These are experiences, and I know in our world, these are going to be conversations, in particular in the spring. And this is something that is NCAA approved, NCAA illegal. And I'm going to stand up here loud and clear, bang my fist, jump up and down on this table, whatever you want me to do, sing and dance, to anything to help continue to advocate for our players in our program and take advantage of things. Now, we have got some great things internally. We have cost of attendance.
Yep.
Awesome. Alston money, huge. Thanks. We greatly appreciate those things. And those things greatly move the needle and are different than some of the schools in our league. Well, then I get the question. I was thinking about this. As you can tell, you got me going. I was gonna put on a hat forward and back. Oh, Dave, what are other schools? I don't care what other schools in our league are doing, Dom. I want to raise the bar of Bison basketball. We want to compete for NCAA tournaments. We want to win games in the NCAA tournament, and to do that, we need to think differently than what we have in the past. And if your company, your business wants to come out and support these things, let me know. This is us advocating for myself, advocating for our guys, advocating for our program to move the needle, because whether we like it or not, this is the reality of our profession right now.
What is the common roadblock you hear from a fan on that?
Great question. This isn't what I've done. This isn't what's happened to me. I have a scholarship, and they should be grateful for the scholarship. Yeah. Okay, and that is fair. Okay, I had a conversation just walking into this building with a gentleman. And he just says NIL doesn't move the needle. But in the same sentence, he said, if I had the opportunity to make this, I would have taken full advantage of it.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? And so, again, this is just what it is. And I want the audience to know that I banged on your door to get into this show to ask for these opportunities, because as I'm getting out and having coffees and beers and lunches and explaining these things with people, the narrative needs to be explained. Stories need to be told of what's happening.
So off that, I know you're going to roll your eyes at me at this question, but have you? I've heard of other teams in the league that are doing that. Now, granted, I know you're not worried about what everybody else is doing, but okay, if they're doing that, we're falling behind as it is. So we've got to get in the. We just got to get in the game here. If we're not doing anything, we're worried about falling behind peer institutions in our own conference.
I'm not rolling my eyes.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. And we are charged against competing against, I'm not going to name a name, but other schools, men's basketball programs in our leagues. And even if you say they're not doing it, I don't care what they're doing. Right, I want to do more than they're doing. Right. And that's just got to be our mindset. There are no excuses. We need to eliminate excuses. We need to move this needle forward. And again, I want to continue to reiterate from Matt Larson's perspective, from Jack Mon's perspective, from Derek Lang's perspective, we are a collective unit. We are the Bison Athletic Department, right? Administrators, team makers, foundation, coaches, and we all need to find ways to embrace that. And I sit there now I'm not a fan, and I'm wearing the other. Man, you just keep asking. We keep asking. Yeah, I do, and I appreciate the support. We do, but if kind of said this a couple times now, I am shameless in my approach. These are just the reality of some of the things that are happening.
I have an email to ask you. Are there your incoming portal guys or incoming high school guys, is that a part of the conversation? Do they ask you, hey, what can you do for me beyond that?
Absolutely. Boom. Drop the mic. They can love us, and they can be right to the edge of making the decision.
Love the facility.
Facilities, all the things. Hey, coach, what about this? Yep. And you know what? I might get a little bit of a roll eyes right away, and then I'm like, you know what? Because it is a fair question that they can ask, because somebody else is talking about it. There's a lot of conversations. I have buddies at the higher levels. Hi, my name's Dom. The next question, what's your number? That's just the reality.
It's amazing.
It
is.
And again, like I
what
need
did it used to be? Like, how much can I play? How much do you think I could?
Yeah,
I mean, that
it
would
used to be
right. That'd be number one to me.
My biggest frustration was, what's my role? I don't know. You're going to determine your role. Come in and work for it. Come in and compete for it. Those things. And
That's amazing.
You know
what? It's funny. I say this all the time, so I'm glad you're actually, because I've been doing this for 2 years about this whole topic, and I had people email me.
Am I red in the face yet? Am I getting,
you're getting there?
like, yeah.
Because when in 22, after that season was over, and you had 4 or 5 guys leave, and I'm like, oh, what's the matter with Dave? And it's got to be something rotten with the program. And I'm sitting here, it's like, this is it. This is now the reality of, if there's eligibility remaining, the portal is going to be there. It's nothing, anything with, and I'm not defending you because you're sitting here. I've told you, I said this to you.
Like I am been around Fargo and NDSU for a million years, and so I become a recognizable figure in public, whether I like it or not. And I don't say that in an egotistical way, but I'm in Shields the other day, and I've told this story, and maybe I've told this story before, and some guy recognizes me, and he says, "You're Richman." I said, "Yeah." And before he introduces, the next thing he says is, "Why are we losing all these players?"
Yeah.
We lost. Again, we had guys leave our program, right, because they got paid substantial monies to go to other programs.
Period. There it is. And Matt Entz experienced the same thing with football. It's the same thing.
Yep.
You know?
I do not blame those kids for leaving for
making that decision.
These circumstances and decisions.
Yeah. What would it take, I think, for a certain generation of fans, and I'll say it, an older generation of fans, to understand, like, they've already seen players leave? Is there anything that would make it click to say, okay, we have to do this, or else we're going to be mired in the middle of the Summit League?
Again, I know some people are turning this off. I know there's some people that are rolling their eyes. Yeah. I know there's some people that are sick of these conversations. And if your mind is made up, I'm not here to change it, right? Like that, those are things. But if there's somebody sitting on the fence, or there's somebody that's already just doing it, and they need a little bit more encouragement to do these things, it's just the reality. It is a shameless, selfish act to continue to have the pride, the passion in Bison athletics, the pride, the passion in Bison basketball. That Kyan Brown said this. If you look up the definition of coach in the dictionary, it's a carriage pulled by a bunch of horses. I think I know a lot about basketball. I know a whole lot about Bison basketball when we have the right character and talent and maturity, leading the way on the court. I mean, that's just the grand scheme of things.
Another email to ask you, I know the answer to this. How frustrating is it to see where every conference realigns based on football and basketball gets left behind? It's pretty accurate.
It's very accurate. It's 100% accurate. I look at, like New Mexico right now.
Yes.
There's schools like that, and that's okay. I'm a huge football guy. I embrace those things, and I'll leave it at that. I know there's a lot of conference realignment talk, especially what's going on with the Mountain West and the Pac-12 right now, and there are certain things that Dave Richman, Bison basketball, can control. And one of the things that we can control is getting better at practice on Monday, and we're going to be excited for those opportunities. And when it comes to leagues and all those things, it's outside of my control.
So there it is. That's coaching cliche number 1 you gave me for the season.
Dodge
I'm running. I'm keeping a running tally this season. Because I look at Gonzaga. Gonzaga is unbelievable but they're just left out there in the hinterland because they don't have football.
Yeah, I mean, do they end up in the Big East, more basketball league? Does somebody just say they're such a big basketball school and they want some of another piece of that Northeast Northwest. Yeah. Never eat soggy watermelon. That's waffles, whatever. I don't know all those things, but I do know it's crazy. You and I are talking like Monday mornings are just a crapshoot. What NCAA rule changed? Who's going to what league? How many are in this league?
Well, here's one they're throwing at you is the 5-year deal for basketball. Because remember, the football gets 4 games, and now the postseason doesn't count. That they keep their red shirt. That's being tossed about for basketball.
10 games, yeah.
So how many? So it'd be 10 for basketball.
I think it was 8 to 10 is my understanding. Yeah.
Sign up for that, right?
Please, absolutely. Yeah. I'm jealous of that rule. It'd be great. Would love it.
Boy, there's some guys you could have played. I'm just thinking down the road, or a few years ago.
Probably a couple guys that could have got in against Oak Hills Christian, and then I still wouldn't be hearing about that damn game.
Let's take one last break with Dave. We'll come back and a few other questions, a couple other emails to get in before we got to let him go. Back on Hot Mic. We'll wrap things up right after this. All right, a couple minutes left here with Dave, before we let him go, email
Hey,
comes
I
in.
apologize to everybody that's going to have to listen to the guy that's following me.
Yeah, McFeely's coming in. We got our Bison Media Zone here coming up in about 10 minutes. To ask, who's the better angler, fisherman between you and Jory Collins?
Oh, come on. We have to ask this question? Me.
Did you get a lot last time you guys went out?
That's what we do. We
Yeah.
don't fish, Dom.
Yeah.
We catch. We catch. Now, I will say that the gentleman that takes us, he's got a pretty good idea what he's doing, and he can lead a. Yeah, he can help. He can help us get it done. That's for sure.
Another one. Did you see Sam Griesel's acting debut yet? Have you checked that out?
So I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer,
Yeah.
and I believe Netflix September 21st.
Okay.
I'm excited for Sam. It's a different role.
Yeah.
A role that
He's
was
a
real.
villain.
He's a
right?
villain,
Yeah.
yeah, and he has to make some comments too that he wasn't very comfortable. I'm like, Sam,
Yes.
you're acting.
Yeah.
But I do think, a good-looking, handsome man that put himself out there, like there might be some opportunities for him. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this because I haven't had a chance to do it since all the summer movings and shakings with professional basketball. You have 7 guys that were on your 2019 team that are playing professionally overseas or wherever. That's amazing, man. That's congratulations on that.
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
real. Thank you. That's really cool. Goosebumps too. And guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
Rocky's really established himself. Sam is doing really good. Vinny and Tyree are doing their thing a little bit. Tyson Ward is really taking off.
So we had
Tom.
Tyson over the summer, and he was playing in the summer
I
league.
started to
man.
pick up some things towards the end of his season last year, and then he was with the Spurs. And we've had guys in the summer league. Tyson was playing in the summer league. Some of the conversations, he's right there on the fringe. He's got to continue to shoot it a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. But he's got a body type that that defensive ability to guard multiple positions and to do some things. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm happy for Tyson.
I knew that team was pretty good.
Yeah.
In 2020, I knew you were really good. I will lament that to the end of time about that NCAA tournament appearance that never happened. But 7 off a mid-major team is ridiculous. That's unbelievable.
And again, it's just really a credit to them too to take away and sacrifice. It goes back to Ben and Woody, or Ben and Winks that are going in here now too. Is you take some great individual talents that had to obviously sacrifice some things for the greater good of the group to accomplish some things. And I need to switch that narrative too. Like how disappointing we weren't. Let's hang on, man. That was a special group.
That Summit League championship game in 2020. Is the Bison basketball team ever played better than that?
Weren't many halftime adjustments we were talking about right there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Did you say anything at halftime of that game?
I'm sure I made something up. Write it down, chalk it up as another coach cliche, whatever you've got. Score is 0-0, right? Something like that. Yeah.
About this upcoming season, and we were visiting off air here before we let you go. It's impossible to predict anymore because we're going to be down in Sioux Falls in a few weeks for the Summit League Media Day. And
Here's what you need to know. I need to do a better job than I've done. I need to take this platform and this is a good team, Dom. I think we got a chance to be really good. This is a team that I want to make sure people know reflects what I want this program to be about. Tough together. This team is fun to be around. There is a pulse to them, a vibe to them, a maturity to them. It's just a really fun group to be around. And fun doesn't necessarily lead to a specific win, but I know damn well through doing this for long enough that when I'm having fun at practice, that translates into success on the court as well.
You got a game at Butler, man. That's pretty good. I like that.
People are excited about that one. Yeah,
be.
My dad is from Lebanon, Indiana, and Hinkle Fieldhouse and those things. We've had a lot of interest already for how do we get tickets, how do we get involved in that game. Yeah.
Going to Weber as well, which that's always a tough challenge, no matter who's playing for Weber State.
You said you wanted to get involved in our program. Are you going to come with us to that one? When we
I've
play
been to Ogden.
when we play Bakersfield,
I go there.
Yeah.
I go. I
Okay.
do have that.
Yeah.
The one that stood out is the Thanksgiving one. You're playing down in Alabama,
Sanford,
Yeah.
Birmingham, Alabama. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
I was
any
like,
of these-
that's not a bad place to be in November.
Are you getting any of these teams to come back? Are they coming up here? Or is
Well, they
everybody
better.
too chicken to come up here? I'll say it.
They better. We need a few home games.
You got Bakersfield coming in, which will be good. I know SIU comes next year.
Correct.
You're going there.
Yeah,
and
that was a 2-for-1. So
Okay.
we went there last year. We're going back to Carbondale this year, and then they'll come back and
Western Michigan's here. That was a thriller last year. That's a good MAC team that's
Josh
coming
Jones
here.
needs to get to work. Schedule some games. Get some home games. It's easy.
We go down that all the time. Last thing before we let you go, can we negotiate your on-air weekly appearance again? Can we do that for the
let's
fourth
do it.
year in a row? Can we make that happen?
Well, I need to start taking some commission though, because clearly.
You go upstairs. You talk to Stace before you leave.
I'm
all
talking
right?
to you.
So,
I mean, out of your deep pockets, I need a cut. I need a cut right there.
okay. So here we go. I need an NIL deal
There
for
you
Dave.
go. Yeah.
For you to come on each week.
Come on.
Because people clamoring for it, they're telling you they love you on the show. So we got to make sure it happens again.
Apparently, I'm honest and tell the truth. That's a good thing.
Thanks so much for doing this, bud.
I appreciate
It's great to see
you,
you,
sir.
and can't wait for a new season to begin on Monday, and we're going to have you on each and every week during the season.
Enjoy that family of yours, and
You as well.
appreciate all your support.
Dave Richman, North Dakota State men's basketball coach, joining us here in studio to get ready for the upcoming season. You go bother Mike here outside. I'm sure you guys can chat it up before things are done. So let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. That was good stuff. So here we go. We got Twins playing a big one tonight with the Guardians in Game 3. Bailey Ober and Tanner Bybee are starters tonight as the Twins try to go for a second win in that series. 5:30 tonight on Bally Sports North. It is a great volleyball night. If you are a fan of collegiate volleyball, the networks have finally woken up. ESPN's got 2 on today. Top-ranked Stanford and Nebraska. Those are 2 of the top 7 teams in NCAA women's volleyball playing tonight, 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network, if you're so inclined to check that out. That's coming up tonight. Also, for you soccer rubes out there, we don't ignore you. The Champions League is underway. I'm told, I'm not a great soccer mind. I'm trying to find out as I go along. Man City and Inter Milan are playing today. And for those of you that have Paramount Plus, you can enjoy that 2 o'clock today as part of that. I was also sent this while we were talking with Dave on the conference realignment. This is another story that's come out here. This is from Chris Vanini, who reports on this for The Athletic, covers everything from mostly the group of 5 schools. Says sources familiar with discussions believe UTEP and Texas State are potential targets. This is for the Mountain West, as FBS members who wouldn't want to make a transition. Sam Houston might be an option too. New Mexico State is in the region, but the school is going through a presidential search, and New Mexico may not favor adding the Aggies. FCS Tarleton, located in Stephenville, is another potential Texas option. We've heard about Tarleton forever. The school just recently completed its transition from Division II, but is growing rapidly and has a lot of money at its disposal. We saw Tarleton in basketball. Was that 2 or 3 years ago, Eric? They were up here with Billy Gillespie as head coach. That was like a rock fight game when they played the Bison. So it was 2022 they came up here. The question is what kind of Mountain West these potential additional schools will be walking into. Texas State likely prefers the Sun Belt where it sits or a possible future AAC invite, while Conference USA has a grant of rights that makes an exit fee larger, the only G5 league with such an agreement. We'll keep on monitoring that. We got to go. Thanks to our guests today, to Drew Trafton and Dave Richman. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. The Bison Media Zone on tap to get you ready for Towson. Much more realignment chatter as well. That's coming up. We'll see everybody back here tomorrow.